Bimbola, you're welcome, good evening. Peace Owade, you're welcome, good evening. Omo Shalewa, you're welcome, good evening. Peace of God, you're welcome, good evening. Oluwadamlola, Olufemi, sorry, you're welcome, good evening. So, good evening, everyone. I believe and I hope that at the end of this webinar, you're going to have so much clarity. You're going to know what to do. You're going to know how to navigate your next path. And you're going to have better knowledge on how nurses can explore other fields, other expressions outside the country. So permit me to read the bio of the speaker for tonight before he takes over, all right? Daniel Olasukomi is an emergency nurse in Canada, is a registered nurse in Nigeria, Canada, and the United States. I think he's working currently at Manchester, yes, United Kingdom. Daniel is a dedicated emergency nurse currently practicing in the United Kingdom, where he combines clinical expertise with a strong passion for innovation and leadership in healthcare. Alongside his nursing career, he serves as the head of finance and budget for the Foundation of Medication Safety. That is NDDCCN. That's another very amazing organization, contributing to initiatives that promote safer medication practices and improved patient outcomes. Is the author of Dan's Basic Histology. You can ask me about that book. I think I read it while I was in 200 or 300 level. And that book was like very resourceful. A pioneering test design specifically for nurses and other healthcare professionals. This book has become a valuable resource for nursing students across several universities, simplifying complex histological concepts into clear and practical learning. I can testify to that, trust me. Beyond clinical practice and writing, Daniel is the CEO of Dex Heart Enterprise, where he channels his creativity and leadership into innovative projects. His interests span research, health innovation, and leadership development, with a strong commitment to advancing healthcare, knowledge, and impact. So, ladies and gentlemen, with every reaction that you can add, that you can give, that you can send, please let's make welcome together Daniel Olasunkomi. Over to you, Excellency.
Yeah. Hello, everyone. Good evening. Can we hear me?
Yes, we can, sir. Good evening, sir.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much for this opportunity. I would firstly like to appreciate the organizer of this event. Thank you very much for inviting me to this space and to speak on this topic. I really appreciate that. And I welcome everyone to this webinar. And I'm going to make sure everything is simple and you get everything you need to know if you want to migrate outside of Nigeria to practice specifically as a nurse. Just permit me to open my slide. Okay. Can we see my slide?
Yes, we can.
Okay. All right. Good evening once again. My name is Daniel, and I'm going to take you through migration pathway for fresh graduate nurses. Right. Okay. This is just an highlight of how this meeting will go. I'm going to talk about my journey to UK as a nurse, my journey to become a USRN, and also registered nurse in Canada. Then I'll talk about why you might need to migrate. and then I will take you through all the steps you need to know to migrate to UK as a nurse, or the US or Canada. And then I'll talk briefly on the challenges you can face and way out of these challenges. And then I'll talk about common mistakes to avoid. And finally, I'll talk about, do you need NYC or internship? Okay, so just to start, my journey to UK actually started right before graduation. So it has always been on my mind to work outside the Nigeria as a nurse, and I've been working on that right from school before we graduate. So this also moved me to start with the first process, which is English test, because if you want to work in an English-speaking countries, you need to prove your English proficiency, and ways of proving that is through an English test. So I started with my English test. That was 2024, right before we even finished the final exam. So I've been reading and studying for the IELTS, and I wrote the IELTS some months after we signed out, before we did our induction. Yeah. So I've wrote the IELTS then, and to the glory of God, I passed at the first try, and I got the required band score. So basically for IELTS, there's no pass or fail. It's just that you are looking for a band score that you need to get what you want to get. So some countries their band score is low, while some country their band score is high to get their license. So I got the required band score, and I wanted to continue on the process. That was when the whole process of NMCN verification started. So I could not continue, and that was how I started the internship. So I keep my internship going, and with my research, I've been doing research on other ways outside of NMCN. If there's no NMCN verification, how can I leave the country? So that was what took me to the US pathway through the New York board, and that was how I discovered that you can actually do your NCLEX in the US and then become a US nurse with an NMCM verification. So I shifted to that. That was around August 2024, and then I start the process. And along the way, they later opened the portal, I think around November 2024 or so. So after they opened the portal, then they started a 2 years cap for you to get verified. So I was not qualified at the time, so I just keep on with the US on the background. So fast forward to January 2025, that was when my license clocked 2 years. So I quickly rushed to NMCN. Then I started the NMCN verification. Then I got verified, and I did my CBT, and then I paid for the OSCE, and then I traveled to the United Kingdom through the visit visa, and I did the OSCE, and to the glory of God, I passed at the first try also, and I got licensed as UK nurse, and then I got my license, and I started applying for a job, and then I got my job 6 weeks after I passed the OSCE, 6 weeks after I wrote my OSCE. So I got this job. I got more than one job. I took this job actually, and I didn't go to some other interviews too, because I already got what I'm looking for. So I just give room to other people's that still working on getting a job too. So and then I come back to Nigeria to change my visa, and then I coming back and start working. After working, then I resume back my US process, which I've put on hold. And then I wrote the NCLEX February 2026. I got licensed in New York board, and then I did the transfer of my NCLEX to Canada, and that was how I got the Canadian license too. So that is basically my journey to get all this license. Are we still with me?
Yes, we are.
Your Excellency.
All right, thank you. So I'm going to still talk about the step by step on how to achieve each of the license you ever wish to hold. I'm just going to talk briefly on why you might need to migrate. So why you might need to migrate? You might need to migrate because of global demand for nurse. It is very high now. The US, they are short of nurses. UK is short of nurses. Basically, all countries, Ireland, Canada, Australia, they're all short of nurses. And you might want to migrate because of better career progression opportunity. As being outside of Nigeria, the scope of practice of nursing is actually different from what we do in Nigeria. So you might want to explore how the scope of practice it is in another country. And there are a lot of opportunities in nursing here. There are digital nursing. There are nurses that just work on the telephone, taking calls from people in the house, ringing for ambulance. There are nurses that stay at home doing analysis, data. There are research nurses. There are nurse practitioner. There are nurse practitioner. If you're a nurse practitioner, it's basically you are doing the scope practice of a junior doctor. So there are a lot of opportunities to explore. A nurse practitioner can prescribe medication, you can order X-ray, you can order CT, MRI, can do a lot of things, suturing, and that is it for the career progression. Another reason you might want to migrate is exposure to advanced healthcare system. I'll just say most 90% of our hospital in Nigeria, if we remove some big hospitals are in Abuja and Lagos. So I can still say those hospitals have quite good standard, but basically not just to run down the healthcare system. I just say we don't really have the advanced nursing we're doing in Nigeria. So we are really limited with the scope of practice in Nigeria. Most of what the doctors are doing in Nigeria is the nurse that do it in the advanced country. Just like cannulation, blood work is being done by nurse in advanced country. And you also get this what should I call it, prestige, respect working as a nurse outside of Nigeria, because if you're a nurse in abroad, I don't know how to really explain it. You as a nurse abroad, you're a team player. Everyone is working together. It's not just like in Nigeria where the doctors say, do this, do this, do this. You're working on according to your scope of practice. Everyone is doing their job. We're all working together to make sure this patient is healed, this patient is safe to go back home. So it's not like in the Nigeria where people will be fighting, doctor nurse fighting, the hospital is being controlled by doctor, hospital are not controlled by doctor outside of Nigeria. The post should be given to people that actually study hospital management. It's not that because you're a doctor, you must be the CMD of an hospital. So these are the difference in our ecosystem. Our ecosystem is different from what people do abroad. So this might be one of the reasons why you want to migrate. Another reason can be financial improvement, or you just want financial stability. Yeah, so as we all know, nurses abroad earn more than we do in Nigeria. So if this is your reason, it's also valid, and that is also good. So I'm going to start with the step you need to take. Are we still seeing my slide? Hello?
Yes, sir, we're seeing it.
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you. So I'll move forward. I'll start with the United Kingdom first. How can you migrate to the United Kingdom as a nurse? So before 2022, the process was a little bit different from now. During that time, we know there was COVID, and the government are actively involved in recruitment of nurses. So that was why that time they suspend some of their protocol just to bring in more nurses. In Nigeria, we did all our exam before they actually allow us to start working as a nurse. So that is how it is normally in all these countries too. But because of the COVID, so they had to remove some of those protocols, which lead to them allowing people to come in. Once you have IELTS or CBT, they just bring you in, you start working, and they prepare you for Husky, then you finally get the license. So that was how it was working then. And that was how most Nigerian nurses used to enter the UK. And after the COVID, they've got a lot of enough nurses to come back, at least just to keep all hospital running. And that was why the government focus shifted from migrating nurses. So they didn't really include it in their budget again. And that is why the funds now stop coming to this hospital. So they are unable to come and bring you in again, sponsor you for this exam, because they don't get the funds again from the government. So that is why it is now self-sponsorship nowadays. You need to come in just like the doctors do too. They come into the UK, write their exam, and then they get a job. So it is this process we are using now. The doctors have been using it for more than 10 years to come to the UK. So the self-sponsorship process is what you need to do as a nurse if you want to work in the UK directly. So for the self-sponsorship process, first of you need to get your international passport, and then you need to have your original certificate ready. You need to have your nursing license ready, and then you need to prepare and pass the English test, just like I said before. For you to practice in any English-speaking country, you need to prove to them you can speak English. And this is the reason why they ask you to do the English test. So it can be IELTS, academics, it can be OET. So if you are doing IELTS for license, it is IELTS academics. So, and you need to get at least in your writing, you need to get 6.5. In your reading, you need 7. Speaking, you need 7. And listening, you need 7. So after you've got your IELTS sorted, you've got the result and the required band score, then you now need to proceed to the Nursing and Midwifery Council of UK. So you proceed to their website, you create an account, you show an interest, you want to join their register, and then you pay for the first fee, which is the 140 pounds. And then after that, they will ask you to send them a third-party verification, which they mean from your nursing board where you are originally registered. So that's where you need NMCN verification. So for UK, you actually need NMCN verification. You can't come to the UK as a nurse without NMCN verification. So this is what made me to actually came in even later. If not, I will have come in earlier than that. So you will need NMCN verification after that, and this is when you need to go to your school for letter of good standing as the requirement from NMCN now. They are requiring for letter of good standing from your university. If you put on your portal that you are working, they will ask you for letter of good standing from your hospital too. But if you don't want them to ask you for two letter of good standing, just put on your NMCN portal that you are unemployed. So with that, you'll be able to only do letter of good standing from your university. And once you get verified by NMCN, then NMC UK will look into your file, and then they get back to you with an email which we call eligibility email. So they are going to send this eligibility email to you, which is your proof to come and write any exam you need to write to become a nurse in UK. So you get an eligibility from NMC UK to write CBT, OSCE, and that is after the evaluation. And then you now move to the next stage, which is writing these exams. So the first exam is CBT. It is just like the CBT we do in Nigeria too for our council exam, but they've got their own materials because, like I said before, their scope of practice is different from our own in Nigeria. So you need to read the material, there are materials for it. I can send it to anyone that needs. And the CBT is not too hard once you read the numeric part, which is basically drug dosage calculation, and you must pass all the drug dosage calculation to pass the exam. I think in some cases they pass 14 over 15. You're going to answer 15 questions. So I think they pardon 14 over 15, but you need to be really good with your drug dosage calculation. You need to pass those drug dosage calculation to pass the whole CBT. And the other is the theory, where so once you pass the CBT, then you need to move to the biggest part of the process, which is coming to write the OSCE. You can do IELTS CBT in Nigeria, but you can't do OSCE in Nigeria. The OSCE centers, we've got 5 centers in to write the OSCE. Okay. Can we still hear me? Hello?
Yes, we can.
Yeah. Okay. So you will need to come in for the OSCE. This is when you need a visa to enter the country. And the visa you need is visiting visa, which is valid for 6 months. So we can't really talk much on that. If you need help with the visiting visa, you can let me know. I'm going to connect you. But you need a visiting visa to come into the UK for the OSCE. So once you pass the OSCE, so they're going to give you the license. Then after the license, you start applying for a job. And in the UK, you can apply for any job you wish to. You can apply for ICU job, you can apply for ER job, you can apply for ward job, in as much you can prove in the interview that you are capable to do the job. And so after you've got a job offer, you will need to come back to Nigeria. So once you get the job offer, you need to come back because you went to UK on a visiting visa, and part of the rules on visiting visa, if you ever need to change your visa, you need to go back to your home country first. So you need to come back to Nigeria, and then once you reach Nigeria, you just apply for the work visa, because once you get a job offer, the hospital will issue you a document which we call COS, Certificate of Sponsorship. So this document is showing that the hospital are telling the government that they want bringing you in, and this is what you need to get the skilled worker visa. So you apply for the skilled worker visa in Nigeria, you get your TB test done. If you are very fast, you can get everything done in a week, and then the response is usually 3 days, 5 days, not like the visit visa that takes 3 weeks. So you get response faster within 5 days, 6 days, you've got your response and you've got the visa, then you're coming back to the UK and then start working fully. And that is how to come into UK as a nurse as at this time, 2026. Okay, are we still with me?
Yes, I can't see the slide anymore.
Oh, can't see the slide anymore. Let me see. Okay. Okay. Can we see the slide now? Hello?
Yes,
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yeah.
we can.
Okay, thank you. So I just run through the requirements we need for the visit visa, which is you need your international passport, you need your confirmation of booking the OSCE, which the center will send to you, and the NMC decision letter is what I've talked about before, the eligibility email. That is the decision letter you need to show to the embassy, and that is your valid reason you are coming into the UK. You don't actually need anyone to invite you again. The Nursing and Midwifery Council have already invited you. So they are the one inviting you to come into the UK to visit the UK for your exam. So you don't need any family to write letter of invitation. If you don't have the fund, you can only find someone to write letter of like financial sponsor for you, or if you want to stay with a family, they can write a letter of accommodation for you. So basically, they are not going to write. Maybe they are the one inviting you. It is the Nursing and Midwifery Council that is inviting you, and that is one of the reasons why they issue the visit visa to nurses. So you will need strong bank statements. At least you should have, like, for the proof of fund, should be around 7 million as at now, and with that is actually okay. And if you don't have that, you might need to find financial sponsor to stand for you. Maybe you have someone close to you, your uncle, that can serve as a financial sponsor for you. Then we have to submit their bank statement, and we have to write a letter, and you have to prove your relationship with them, maybe through pictures, put pictures together, chats together, to prove to the embassy that you actually know the person. And for that, then you need your certificate, license, then you need your proof of this CBT result you've done. You need the proof, that's the result. Then you need a pay slip, because for you to come in to visit the UK as a nurse, they want to be sure you are going to go back to your country. So you need to tell them you are actually maybe on annual leave. And this is why migration is easier if you are still a fresh nurse than those that's already maybe employed by the government. It is difficult for them to get enough time to do this process. So this process actually favor fresh graduates, people that are still doing internship, NYSC, before they are in a committed employment, which they will not be able to travel. So their employer will be calling them back. And for the UK process, you actually need to be in the UK to get the job because of the red list. So what red list means is the country have notified the World Health Organization that in their country they lack nurses. That is what the red list means. So that means Nigeria government does not want nurses to migrate. So they've notified World Health Organization to add them to the red list country, so that employers abroad will not want to take nurses from this country. So that is basically what the red list means. So you need to be out of the soil to get this job for the employer to give you the job. So that's why you also need the visit visa, so that you apply for interviews while you are still in the UK, and then you get the job. So this is the disadvantage to people that are already in a committed work. They will not be able to stay long to attend this interview. Their employer might be calling them back at home, come and resume work. And this is the main reason why people don't get job. And they'll come online saying they did self-sponsorship, they didn't get a job. It's because they didn't stay in the UK while looking for the job. They are looking for the job in Nigeria, why they are claiming I've gotten the license, but their location is affecting them, because most employer now, they want people that can attend the interview physically, that they can see you physically. So you are in Nigeria and you are asking them for a virtual interview. If they actually give you virtual interview, they might not give you the job. So that is the disadvantage. You need to be in the UK to get the job, and that is the trick. So other documents you need, pictures, maybe on uniform, just proof home ties that you are coming back. You need letter from your employer, and if you are staying yourself, you might need to book hotel. If you are staying with someone, they need to give you like proof of accommodation. And yeah, so anybody that want to accommodate you need to show their bank statement, their BRP, mean their visa here, and their tenancy agreement, payslip, water bills, picture of you with the host, the person that wants to host you, utility bills. They need to show this before they can host you in their home. So these are the requirements you need for the visit visa. Are we still with me?
Very much, sir.
Yeah. And we can see my slide, right?
Yes, clearly. Oh, I don't know if it's the network. It's going on and off.
Oh, I think it's actually a Telegram thing about slide sharing. It doesn't really work effective like Google Meet, other stuff. Yeah. So I'm going to move to the next stage, which is how you can go to the US to work. And for the US, there are 50 states in US, and each of these states, they have their board. So you need to choose which board you want to register with. I encourage people that are fresh to go with New York at first, because New York is more easy to actually start with, and they didn't require you to send a CGFNS report. They did do their evaluation themselves. This is one of the reasons you need to start with New York. It is more cheaper to start with, and to use New York board, you need to have your original certificate ready, also your license, your passport, and then you for New York, you go to their website. They're going to ask you to submit result of 2 mandatory courses. So you are going to do the course online. Is on infection prevention control and child abuse. So once you do these 2 courses, it doesn't cost much. I think it's around 40 to 50,000 to get this course done. So once you add these 2 results, then you can proceed to their website and start the application. So they're just going to ask you your information, your school, and then for New York, if you don't want to do NMCN verification, there's a section on the application that we ask you, do you want to declare your foreign license? So you are going to tell them no, you don't want to declare your foreign license. So once you click no, they won't ask you for NMCN verification. They will only assess your school. They will assess your degree, and then they issue you the eligibility to write the NCLEX. But if you choose yes, I want to declare my foreign license, they are going to ask you for NMCN verification. So New York is actually good for people that are not qualified for NMCN verification yet. You can write your NCLEX and become US RN even before you are qualified for NMCN verification. So once you start the application, you answer the question, submit, they will ask you to upload those 2 mandatory courses. And once you've done that, you pay the $145, and then they will ask you to go back to your school, that your school should send your transcript with a 2A form. There's a 2A form on their website. Your school needs to send a 2A form together with your transcript to New York, directly to them in their office. So once they accept your transcript, the 2F form that is being stamped by your school, and then your degree, they can add your degree together with the envelope they send to the New York. So they are going to assess this. It can actually take 3 months for them to finish the evaluation. So once they check everything, they will issue you eligibility to write NCLEX. So once you've got this eligibility to write NCLEX, this is what you need to write NCLEX. That means they've assessed your transcript, they've seen that your education match their own standard, and they are happy with you to write the NCLEX. So you can use this 3 months you are waiting for eligibility to start studying for the NCLEX. So once they give you back the eligibility, that means the board is done with the process. So everything now is in your hand. Even if you are ready, you can write the NCLEX that same week that they give you the eligibility. So you are free to go and write the NCLEX. So assuming you've been studying, you are ready, that means you can write the NCLEX even in 3 to 4 months. So you apply for your ATT, which costs $200, and then once you get the ATT, then you plan which country you want to write the NCLEX, because Nigeria doesn't have any center at the moment. So the closest center is Kenya, and then we've got another center in South Africa, which you might need visa. But for Kenya, as in Nigeria, you don't need visa. You just need to do an ETA online. Just do an ETA just to transfer to travel to their country. So it doesn't cost more than, I think, $30 or so, and you don't need to send much documentation. So, and you get it right away, and then you travel to Kenya to take your NCLEX. So once you pass the NCLEX in Kenya, the board will receive your results, and then within 1 to 2 weeks, New York will issue you your US license, and that's how you get license in United States of America. And if you want to transfer it, you can transfer it to any other state you want in the US. You can transfer the results to Canada. You can transfer the results to Australia. So you passing NCLEX give you opportunity to get license in Canada, get license in Australia. So once you pass the NCLEX, they'll issue you the US license, and that is how you've become USRN. So to move to the next step, which is how you will now migrate to the US after you've become a USRN. So you also need your international passport. You need your original certificate, license. This is the time you might want to need NMCN verification, because you will need NMCN verification for your visa screen. So for the migration part for the US, it's actually easier. It's just that it takes time. So for US, for the migration, it's easier because you're not going to spend again. Once you've passed your NCLEX, you are not spending again. And when you get to the US, the agency that will pay you back this money you spend to get your NCLEX done. So that's the difference from US and UK. UK, you are going to pay for everything yourself till you start working. But for US, they're going to pay you back and they're going to carry the load from once you've passed your NCLEX. So they are going to carry the load from there till you get to United States of America. But for you to migrate to US, it takes at least minimum of 3 years for them to finish your green card, which is a permanent visa for you to go to USA. And currently, Nigeria is part of the country that is placed on ban, part of the 75 country that is placed on ban, which we are hoping to be removed soon. But the ban doesn't affect you at this moment. The ban only affects you when the visa is ready and you wanted to enter, you wanted to book a flight to come in to US. That is when the ban is affecting you. The ban doesn't stop you to write your NCLEX. It doesn't stop you to get a job. It doesn't stop you to be on the queue of the 3 years. So hopefully the President Trump removed the ban on Nigeria, and there are other lot of countries on the ban. Brazil is there. There are a lot of countries. So we are hoping that he removed the ban. So the ban is only stopping you from traveling into the country. So it doesn't stop you. It doesn't stop the process. You can write the NCLEX, get licensed as US nurse, and you can get a job with a US employer, and then they will file this file called I-140. I-140 file is what your employer will do with immigration lawyer. So they do it, it's like law. So they do it with immigration lawyer. So they're going to file this I-140 for you. And once they file it, you will get a priority date. And that priority date is when they're expecting you to come for your embassy interview. So after that priority date, you're expected to book for your interview after that date. So once you get the priority date, it's going to be handled by your agency. So that is why the US is more easier, because they're going to do all the work for you. Your own is just to pass the NCLEX and then tell them you wish to work with them, do interview with this agency, and then they offer you a job offer. Then you go through the contract and see if you like it, then you sign it. Once you sign the contract, they will take over from there. You don't need to do any other thing. Your own is just to keep praying that your date is current. So for US, there's something they call visa bulletin. This is the date they are using to issue visa, the permanent visa, which is the green card. This is the date they are using. So currently, the category where Nigeria is in June 2024 now. That means when you got filed, so those people that are filed June 2024, they are actually eligible to get their visas now, because the visa bulletin is currently in June 2024. So most people that their date is June 2024, May 2024, they are already, like, let me say they are ripe to enter the US. But currently the ban is stopping them. So once the ban is lifted, they are going to give them the visa to enter. But assuming the ban, there's no ban. So once your date is current, they'll call you for interview in the embassy, and then you get your green card. So that is what the priority date means. And for you to get the priority date, your agency needs to file the I-140 for you. And once it is being filed, the embassy will get back to you on your priority date. So you'll be watching out on the visa bulletin for that date to be current. So once the visa bulletin have moved to your priority date, that means you are ripe to go for the interview to get the green card. So that is it basically on how to migrate to US, and then you start living in the US and start working as a nurse in the US. Okay. Are we still with me? Hello?
Yes, we are. Hold on.
Yeah. Thank you.
We are with you.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. So moving to Canada now. So how do you migrate to Canada? Canada is, let me say, is the most complex of all of them. And for Canada, you have to sort out two pathways. There's the migration pathway and there's the license pathway. And for Canada, for the migration, I'm still going to come back to that. But for you to get license in Canada, firstly, they don't take diploma nurses, they take bachelor nurses. So you need to have a bachelor degree, and then you need an international passport. You need to have all your original certificates and license ready. And then for fresh nurses, I always advise, if you want to go to Canada, make sure you do it from US. It's more easier. That's the easiest pathway for you. Because if you're going directly to Canada, they might end up telling you you need to go to school, you need to do some course, maybe 6-month course. So it's more easier for you to come in through US. So your first goal will be to get a license in US first, if you have Canada in your mind. So that's why I recommend you becoming a USRN first through New York. And then when you get your license in New York, then you can now start thinking which of the province you want to register with in Canada. So each of the province have their own requirements, and for people that have passed NCLEX, the most easiest province for you to get registered with first is Alberta. So you can enter Canada too through Alberta license. So once you've got the Alberta license, it's more easier for you to transfer to other province in Canada. So you don't really need to move to Alberta. Just need to go, like, you need to act smart, not working hard. You need to work smart. So this is the easiest way. And if you've passed the NCLEX, you're going to get the Alberta license within 1 month. Let me say, the time that it will take you to get your certification evaluated is part of the 1 month. So it's that very fast. It's very fast for you to get the Canadian license in Alberta once you've got your US RN first. So your goal will be to get license first in the United States. Once you've got license in the United States, you're just going to transfer it to Canada. So you're going to proceed to the Alberta website. So there's a section there. They will ask you for like questionnaire. So they are going to ask you in that questionnaire, have you passed NCLEX? So once you've said yes, so they are going to take you to the pathway for people that have passed NCLEX. So this pathway is very straightforward. Before, to get the Alberta license, you don't need to do WES evaluation. But in 2026, they've added extra qualification, like you need to get your degree to be evaluated by WES first. So you need to apply to WES and do the course by course evaluation. So once you do the course by course evaluation with WES, you send your transcript from your university to WES, and WES will check it. So this is the process that can delay you. But if you have the WES ready today and you apply to Alberta today, you are going to get the license like in 2 weeks. So it's that very fast. But what can delay you is getting that WES evaluation report. So Nigerian University, they can take time to send your transcript to WES before West starts looking at your transcript, before they get back to you, they are okay with your transcript, and before they issue you the report. So once you've got the West evaluation report ready, you need to get police clearance, and these are the two things you need to sort first. Then after that, you're going to apply on the ABATA portal, and then you pay 236 Canadian dollars, and then they will ask you to upload your police clearance, and then they will ask you if you've done the West. So once you've done the West, they ask you for the code, and then you tell West to send your report to the Board of Nursing, which is the CRNA. So West will send your report to their office. You will upload the police clearance. You pay the fee, and then they will ask you to upload your NCLEX results. And then for ABATA too, they have 2 mandatory courses. The link will be from your application board. So they are going to, once you pay them for the application fee, you will have access to the link to the courses. You don't need to pay for the courses. It's part of the application fee you've paid. So you just need to click on the courses, and then you do the course. So once you finish the 2 courses, it will automatically reflect on your portal that you've done the course. So they will ask you if you've gotten the IELTS. So you just click yes. They won't ask you to upload it. So then they ask you some other click. You just need to click those questions, yes or no, and then you wait for them to evaluate your document, and then you pay the final fee, which is the 504 Canadian dollars, and then they'll get back to you. So within 5 days, 4 to 5 days, they're going to get back to you with your license. It is that very fast. And once you've gotten the ABATA license and you want to get license in British Columbia, you can transfer it to British Columbia. So you are going to move it from one province to another. It's not that you are moving from Nigeria directly to Canada, which is very difficult. They might ask you to go back to school. So that is working smart, not working hard. So once you've got the Canadian RN in ABATA, if your goal is to move to other province, just transfer it to other province. And that is it on getting the license. So for you to migrate to Canada now, there are several ways to go to Canada. You can go through work permit, which is very hard at the moment. It's very hard, but currently British Columbia is offering this process for nurses. So they are recruiting nurses via this EarthMatch PC. So once you register with EarthMatch PC, they are like agency. They will ask you if you've gotten license in PC. So if you have license in BC, they're going to take you, and then they're going to get some employer for you. You will do interview with this employer, and if you are lucky, they select you, and then they're going to work on your work visa for you, and then you come into Canada first while they are still working on your permanent resident. So that's one part to go, which is very hard. The second part that you can use to enter Canada as a nurse is express entry, which is through the permanent resident straight. So you're just going to, for you to do your express entry, you need English exam. In this time, you don't need academics, you need general. You need IELTS general. You can also do CEPIP, you can do PT core. So you need an English exam, and you need to pass in it very well, because the more you pass, the more your score will rise in the express entry points. So, and then you've done West already. When you are applying to ABATA, you've done course by course. So you are just going to send email to West or you apply on their portal. They have a link for it. So you're just going to transfer. You tell them to help me transfer it from course to ECA. So the embassy will not accept your course to course. Course to course evaluation is only for license. So you need to ask West to convert it to ECA. So if you've done that, you are going to have 2 reports on your West portal. You have one report for course by course, which you did initially, and you will have another report for ECA, which they are going to send to the embassy. So once you have this West report and in IELTS General, you are qualified to join the pool. So you just go to the Canada.ca website, open an account on the Express Entry pool, and then you upload your information there. Upload they will contact West for your report. You upload the score you have in your IELTS, and then you are going to wait, and then you're going to exercise some patience. So what happened in the pool is some province, they go into the pool and then they look for some people in some special profession like doctor, nurses. So they go into the pool. If they're okay with your profile, most province they are taking nurses now and doctor. So once a province is interested in you, they might send an invitation to you to apply to their province. But if you are going with a province, that means you must go to that province at least for till you get maybe Canadian citizenship there. You need to be in that province. That's why they are giving you extra 600 points to come to their province. So because you are a nurse, that's why it will be easier for you on the pool, because they are going to come and pick you there because you are a nurse. So they will offer you this 600 points. It is more hard for other people, but because you are a nurse, you are easily like you will easily get this 600 points from any province. So any province you sign with that you want to come to their province, you get 600 points from them. And 600 points with your, maybe you have 300 before, or 350, 400, that will make your point to go very high. And then when next they had draw, you are going to be invited. And that's how you get your permanent residence in Canada. And so if you've got the 600, maybe you've got it from, let me say, Ontario now. So you need to convert your license to Ontario license, so that once you get to Canada, you start looking for a job in Ontario. So if you follow the permanent resident pathway, that means you are not going with job. You are going to be looking for the job when you get to Canada. But the one that the British Columbia is doing now, they are going to get you a job before you come into Canada. But most people that are on the pathway, they are saying they tend to take more people from UK than from people from other countries. So it's like the UK nurses have more edge in those selections. So, but there's nothing harm in trying. You can try. If you are lucky to get an employer through the British Columbia, they are going to give you a work permit, which will allow you to enter first while you are still waiting for British Columbia to give you the 600 points to complete your PR. And that is how to move to Canada. And then some people also use study route to enter the country while they find their way to get a nursing job in the country. But basically, it's somehow like tricky, but the most easiest one, and the one that is sure, is the Express Entry. You just need to score high in your English test, and then you need to stay in the pool. Any province might send an email to you, and there are some province they have specified website for you to show expression that you specifically want to come to their province. You apply on those links, they have it on their province website. If you apply on those links and they are interested, they are okay with your, because you're a nurse, obviously they are not going to reject you. They are going to take you because you're a nurse. You just need to prove like 6 months work experience. If you want to actually go to Canada as a nurse, you need a work experience. So once they've seen your work experience, they're going to give you the 600 points. So you've actually got edge above other people because you are a nurse. So you are going to get the 600 points, which will help you to get the Canadian permanent resident. And then you migrate to Canada and then you start working. So the express entry, we know, is not going to allow you to work as a nurse in Canada. That's why you need to work on your license too. So it's a different pathway. Migration is different from license. So you need to get your license, you need to work on the migration too. So that is it for Canada. Okay. Hello.
We are with you. We are
Yeah.
with you.
Thank you. So I've talked on migrating to UK, US, and Canada. Just going to go through challenges you can face and way out. So challenges you can face, the first one is funds. So for this process, you actually need money. So way out, you might need to maybe have some side job, business, or you have maybe a family that's willing to sponsor the process for you. But you need money. If it's UK now, you need money to come into the UK. If it's US, you need money to go to Kenya to do your NCLEX before your agency take over all the expenses. If it's Canada, which is the most expensive, you also need money to do your English test, to do your WES, and then to stay in the pool. Once you get invited, you need the money to pay for. Even when they invite you, you are still going to pay. You are still going to show proof of fund for your permanent resident. So you will need money for this process. And then way out is looking for side job, looking for family to sponsor you. And then another challenges you can face is waiting period to get approved. For instance, now, if you're still waiting for NMCN verification, the 2 years, and just to talk briefly on the 2 years now. So the NMCN 2 years doesn't mean you need to have worked for 2 years. They're not saying you should have worked for 2 years. What they want from you is your license to be 2 years old. So once you've got your notification of result or NMCN certificate, there's a date there that they wrote as date of registration. So you need to see that date and then you add 2 years to that date. That is when your NMCN portal will be eligible for you to apply for NMCN verification. So this waiting period can be frustrating. So these are the challenges you can face, but that doesn't stop you from becoming a US nurse. You can become a US nurse without NMCN verification. You only need NMCN later when you want to sort out the visa, the green card to go to US, but you don't need it to become a US nurse through New York board. So another challenges you might face is balancing your work with studying, because for this exam you need to sit down, you need to read. So you balancing it with your work is another challenges you need to face. You might be going to work 5 times in a day in Nigeria, while in UK we go to work three days in a week. So you will need to balance your work with studying. And then another challenges is job session. For this job session, I have like a mentorship group. I'm mentoring people on how to get a job in the UK after you've got your OSCE sorted. So I'm going to help you on the tips. It is free. You're not going to pay any money for the mentorship, and I'm going to mentor you on how to get a job so that you can get a job after you pass the OSCE. And challenges, another challenges would be interview. So I'm also doing that with the mentorship. I'm mentoring you on job session and interview. So if you need help with that, I can help you with that. And another challenges is adapting to new nursing environment. Just like I said before, our scope of practice is different. No matter the years of experience you have in Nigeria, you're still going to need adaptation. If you come to the UK, it's different. It's like starting all over again. So it's best to try and leave as early as you can, because no matter the years you had in Nigeria, you're still going to start all over again learning. If you go to US, you're still going to start all over again learning how nursing works in those countries. And then you are thriving excellently. You adapt to system, and then you are living your life. And, yeah. Common mistake to avoid. Yeah. So some mistake to do is looking for shortcuts. Just like I said now that UK you can't it without NMC verification. Some people because and they pay a lot of money for fake information. There are some people that are paying people for information. You don't need to pay anybody for information. This is all that you need to do. They're trying to sell it to you. They want to make it from your ignorance. This step, you need to just stick to the step and you see your dream to decision. A mistake is some people don't understand the license step before they start. They don't know what they need to do. So they end up making mistake because they don't know what they need to do at a particular time. And another mistake is following people comments, especially those people that have done it and they did not succeed. So this can discourage some people from from moving forward with their plans to migrate. So you need to follow the right set of people because the mindset of the people you follow will affect your own mindset too. And another mistake is people make is poor financial planning. So some people don't make the planning for how they're going to finance the process, and then they end up stuck in the process. So you need to sit down before you start. You need to count the cost before you start the journey. And finally, do you need NYSC or internship? So this actually depends on individual. So for the internship, I would actually say I would encourage you to start your internship going, because at least the experience you get from this internship will also help you in a little way. So you should start your internship, and then when the process click, then you can leave. You might not finish the internship, just like I did not finish my internship. It remained, I think, 2 months before I left. So but I strongly recommend you start your internship immediately after you graduate. This will help you to also get used to some things even before you come into each of the country you wish to go. And you starting the internship can also help you for like Canada now, that you need at least 6 months experience to get in the pool as a nurse. For a province to pick you for the 600 point, they need to see that you've been working for at least 6 months as a nurse. So you need to start your internship going. But for NYSC, you don't actually need NYC if you don't wish to work in Nigeria or you don't wish to be a politician in Nigeria. You don't need NYC. So if your process click before NYC, carry your bag. You don't need the NYC, except your plan is to come back. Maybe you want to come back to Nigeria later for political post, you might need to complete your NYC. Or if you don't have the plan to work at all in Nigeria, or you don't have any plan for political posts, you might not do the NYC. But the internship and the NYC count as a work experience for you. So that is what I'll say about NYC and internship. Okay, and that would be all from me for now.
Oh,
Hello?
wow, wow, wow.
Yes.
Thank you so very much. Please, can we all give him a round of applause? Can you just send your emojis, send your reactions to appreciate Daniel? All of us will agree with him. That was a very rich, a very, very rich session.
Yeah.
Like he broke it down. Things I've not even heard before, despite all my researches, is what I'm hearing now. And that is the difference between hearing from someone who has passed through the process and just, going blindly, just checking online. There's a saying, if you want to, you want to go further, just fly on the wings of people that has gone on that path before. Yeah. So thank you so much. We are grateful. That was a very rich, rich, rich session.
Thank you
So
very much. Can
you
take
talked
questions.
about yeah?
I said we can take questions now from anybody that have
Yes,
questions.
yes. I just
Okay?
wanted to quickly summarize what you spoke about.
Yeah.
So you talked about the UK RN pathway, the US pathway, and the Canadian pathway. I mean, you broke it down. You started from your own story, then you took us through the requirements for each country, then how to go about it, the differences between each pathway, the easier things to consider, the financial aspects, the common mistakes to avoid, talking about internship and NYC with a must. I mean, it's just a lot. It's a lot. If all of us would agree with me, it's the information that we just passed to us now. You have to sit with it again if you are serious with your migration plans. I mean, sit with it again and draft out your plans from everything he actually told us, and start working on it. Okay, so thank you once again. Let's take a few questions. So if you have any question, please feel free to unmute yourself. Or is there a way we can raise our hands so that there will be orderliness? This is not like okay, if you have any question, just unmute
Good
yourself.
evening. Good evening, sir. Good evening, ma.
Okay. Good evening. Go on.
Thank you very much for this session. Thank you so much for this session. I am it was very, very inspiring. Just show that there's still hope for upcoming nurses. So I just have a few questions. And I'm really sorry if you have answered some of the questions in the session. My network kept going on and off, so it's possible you've answered. I would just really appreciate if you can if you've answered before, just give a brief recap. I am really, really sorry. So my first question is for the US pathway, you said even if we're using New York Board of Nursing, we need our certificate, our original certificate from NMCN. What do we do about these NMCN withholding certificates now? Because since 2023, they've not released. They said there's no board chairman to sign or to append signature on certificate. So what's the how do we get our certificate? I learned some people say you can use notification of result or whatever from NMCN, but even this notification of result, they said not every country, not every it's not used for every purpose. I think they said it's basically for academic purposes, not for work purposes. So this NMCN certificate itself, how do we get it, please?
All right. Yeah, thank you so much for that question. Just to start, you don't need NMCN certificate for New York. All you need is your degree certificate and transcript with the 2F form to be sent directly to New York from your school. So that is why you need to pay attention when you are registering on New York. They are going to ask you just one question that will change the whole pathway of your process. They are going to ask you, do you want to declare your foreign license? If you click yes, you are going to do NYSE verification. Or if you click no, they are going to waive NYSE verification for you. And for UK, you can use your NOR to do the NMCN verification. Once your license is 2 years, you are qualified for NMCN verification, you can upload your NOR. They are going to send the verification to you for you to UK NMC. So if you have the NOR, you can go on with your process. Even if it's the UK you want to do, you need the NMCN verification, you can go on with it. Or if it's New York you are doing, you don't need NMCN at all until you get your US license. With New York, you don't need NMCN. You only need NMCN when you are speaking with your employer. They want to start filing for your visas. That's when you need NMCN verification. Okay?
All right. Thank you very much. Please, a similar question. These 2 years, there's a lot of controversy about when it starts counting. When exactly does this 2 years post verification stop? When does it start counting? Is it from the moment where you like pass your RN exam, or from your induction date, or from after internship? Like, I don't even know what to believe at this point. When exactly does the 2 years start counting?
Yeah. So it actually depends on your school. You know, some schools are very fast. Once you do the exam, maybe November, you did it, you pay for license and they get you license like January. So if you do the exam like November 2022 and you get license January 2023, that means you will add 2 years to that date. That means you are qualified January 20, that's 2025. So what you need to do to know when you'll be qualified is make sure you have your NOR or your certificate from NMCN, because they are not going to write the date they register you on your license. Even if you have the license, it's not there. So it's only date of expiring that's on your license. If I'm correct, my own license doesn't have the date of registration. So you need your NOR to see your date of registration. So what you need to see is that date. Once you check your NOR, you see the date of registration. Maybe it's January 16, 2023. That means you'll be qualified January 16, 2025. That if you open the port at 12 midnight that day, you are qualified for the NMCN verification. So you don't need to work. They're not asking you to work for the 2 years. They just want to delay you for 2 years. They just want your license to click 2 years. It is their means of delaying you. They don't want you to travel. So you don't need, even if you do not work and your license has clocked 2 years, you are free to do NMCN verification. Just make sure on your NMCN portal, you declare you are unemployed. So if you declare you are unemployed, they only ask you to contact your school for a letter of good standing. They won't ask you to contact your place. Okay?
All right, thank you very much, sir. One last question. I'm so sorry. One last question.
You have few
So,
seconds, please.
yeah, just one last question. For those those that processed US and their priority date, let's say like their priority, like you gave the example, like their priority date is already like May 2026. What happens now, like now that the ban is still on? What happens to them that their priority date has already clicked?
That's a good question. So those that their priority date is already current, they've invited them for interview, and during the interview, what they are going to tell you is, though we are not refusing your visa, but you need to come back when the ban is lifted. So they are going to give you a document to go home with, and then you go back home with your passport. It is, let me say, it's like a silent approval. They've already approved the visa that day you went for the interview, but they are unable to stamp your passport because Trump said your country should not enter. Because the moment they stamp that passport, it means you can book your flight the second day. It means you can book your flight the following day. So that's why they are not going to stamp it on that day. They will ask you to come back when the ban is lifted. So once the ban is lifted, they will be the one to send email to you to send back your passport. You are not going for any other interview again. They will only ask you to waybill the passport back to the embassy, and then they stamp you, and then you book a flight. So those people that are already current now, they are already at the end of their process. They are only praying to Trump to open the ban so they can enter. So they are already ripe to enter the US. Let me use that language. But it's Trump that is holding them back from entering. So they will already know where they are coming in to work from the agency, maybe the hospital they are going to work, because they already finished the whole process. It's only Trump that did not allow them to enter. So that's what is going to happen when your date is current.
So thank you so much. Thank you so much. That will be all from my end. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Laura Toby, for those questions. So, does any other person have questions? Would like to release our speaker in a few minutes' time. Is there any other question?
Okay,
Yes,
thanks
thank
so
you.
much, sir, for the session.
Okay, let Oluwadamilola go first. Then we have Edward Oluwaseyi later.
Okay, thank you so much, sir, for this section. So my question is a little bit a little bit from, like, apart from your experience. So you've mentioned 3 places. You've mentioned US, UK. Okay, you've mentioned Canada too. So I just want to ask if there are other places apart from these 3 places that the processing to those places can even, like, if you have any other idea based on other places too, that processing can be maybe not as okay. Just the question, maybe there are other countries that or other places that someone can also process as a nurse and to
Yeah. Okay. That's a beautiful question. You as a nurse, you can actually go to any country in the world. There's no country you cannot go to. The only thing is there are some countries they don't speak English. This is why most of us tend to go to English-speaking country. So if you want to go to places like Germany, you will need to learn their language. They are offering jobs to nurses. You just need to learn their language. If you want to go to Finland, you need to learn Finnish. So that is just basically, if you understand their language, you can go to any country to work as a nurse. You can come to Ireland. Ireland is also English speaking, and their home process is just the same like the UK. You are going to write your IELTS, you are going to do their CBT, you are going to do their OSCE, and then you come in as a nurse to Ireland. You can come in with their visiting visa also, and then you look for a job in Ireland. That's for Republic of Ireland. They are English speaking. If you want to go to places like France, you need to learn French, and you need to get their license. So basically, you can work in any country. You just need to make sure you are speaking their language in that country. And if you have NCLEX, you can also use it for Australia. You only apply on the portal. So for Australia too, if you graduated after 2017 and maybe you are working in the UK, they are going to waive some, like the OSCE away. So they are going to waive the OSCE for you. But if you are applying directly to Australia from Nigeria after your NCLEX, they might not waive the OSCE for you. And the OSCE is a lot expensive. It's maybe like 3,000 Australian dollar to register for the OSCE, which you will still need to book a flights and visit visa to Australia to ride the OSCE. So basically for Australia, you need NCLEX and OSCE. But if you are working in like UK, maybe you are working in Canada, they are going to waive off the OSCE. But if you are applying directly from Nigeria to Australian board with your NCLEX, they are going to probably ask you to come in for the OSCE. So basically for Australia, two exams you need to register with them is your NCLEX and their OSCE. For US, it's just NCLEX. For Canada, it's just NCLEX. But for Australia, it's NCLEX and OSCE. For UK, you need to do CBT and OSCE. For Ireland, you need to do CBT and OSCE. For places like Germany, you just need to make sure you pass their German exam. Once you pass that German exam, there are a lot of agencies that give jobs in Germany to nurses. So that's basically it. So you can actually go to any country. It's just that you need to ask yourself, can you speak their language? Can you pass their language test? So that's it.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you. All right. So our time is fast spent. Oluwadamila, to add to what our speaker just said, you just have to, make your research. If you feel like there are some things that are restricting you or there's some resources like that, just make your research. On the street or Twitter, I saw a country recently that does not require IELTS, does not require NCLEX. You just have to verify your license and you submit your required documents, and that's all. Bermuda, you can make your research on it. Bermuda, yeah. All right. So please, within a minute, let's take one last question. I promised someone Edward Oluwaseyi, so that's why I'm taking this question. Please, you just have a minute, please. Okay, I guess he's no longer with us. Okay, so let me assume there's no more questions at this point.
Good evening. I do have a question. I'm so sorry, please. Hello, can you hear me?
Okay, go ahead. You have a minute, please. Thank you.
Hello. Okay, sorry. So I wanted to ask, like, from concerning the license, I think you've already answered one of my questions. Concerning the license, for my institution, what they do is after induction, they give you an intern nurse license. That's what they give. And you don't get to have that permanent license. So I don't know if when you want to go through this process, you can apply directly to NMCN for a permanent license, or you just use your intern license to proceed your application. And also, I want to understand, let's say, for example, I want to start off this process. Is it possible that maybe after writing the English exam and I pass, then I give it a break for like 3-4 months to start up the other process, maybe due to finance, then continue? Will it affect the process? Is it something that you need to do like immediately? You just need to finish one, enter the other one, or you can give some time to balance yourself financially? That's what I want to understand.
Yeah. So for the first question, you're asking about the final license. So it actually depends on your school. It depends on their protocol. If they actually, if you need to finish the internship before they give you, so it all depend on your school for the license. So you might need to contact maybe some of your HOD for your license. So that's basically it. But for the process, they're not actually going to ask you to send your license. So I don't know. what you need is the NOR and the NMCM verification. So they are not going to ask you for the license card. So, but if you need it, you should get it before starting. And to your second question, you said, is there option for like space, breathing space? That's actually correct. Once you do the IELTS, you don't need to rush it. Just like I said, I did my IELTS like May 2024, and I just continue my UK process 2025 January. So your IELTS is valid for 2 years. So that means you must use it within that 2 years. And once you've gotten the NMCN verification sorted for UK, and you've gotten the approval from NMC UK, they are going to give you like 2 years to also complete the remaining 2 exams. So and for your CBT is valid for 1 year. So once you've done the CBT exam, that means they're expecting you to do the OSCE within 1 year, or else you will have to do another CBT. So that's that for UK. For US, you don't also need to rush. If you are using New York eligibility doesn't expire. If you've got New York eligibility and that's where your money finish for the meantime, you don't need to panic. That's why I'm proposing New York board to you, because they are friendly with fresh graduates. If assuming you use TESAS, they're going to give you like 6 months to pass the NCLEX. So if you use New York, you can even write the NCLEX after 7 years. This doesn't expire. Once New York have received your document in their office and they've sent you eligibility that they are okay for you to go ahead and do the NCLEX, you can actually rest that time. In my own case, I've gotten my eligibility January 2025, and I didn't write NCLEX until February 2026. So nobody is pressuring you. Once you've got the eligibility with New York, you can write your NCLEX after 5 years. You can write it after 10 years. Your document is always with them. That's the advantage of using New York. But if you use other board like TESAS, they are going to give you 6 months to complete the process.
Thank you very much, sir. But I still want to ask, so is it possible to take let's say you want to apply for the UK, for you to take the CBT before the IELTS, or you take the IELTS before the CBT? Because since it's expiring like in 2 years, if you can take the CBT before IELTS, to just give you that time, is it possible?
That's a good question. You can do your CBT OSCE before the IELTS, but it is not advisable because you are coming in with a visit visa. That's what we are mentoring you to come in with. You only have 6 months to finish everything. So assuming you come in and do the OSCE now, you've passed OSCE, you've passed CBT, and you are now struggling with IELTS. Those time you are using to prepare for those IELTS tests, you are supposed to be using it to get a job. You are not supposed to be using it to read for IELTS again. And IELTS and OSCE is the hardest part of the UK process. So you might be struggling to get the required band score. That's why most people want to get IELTS sorted first before they start. But it is more advisable also if you do the CBT first and then you try to do the IELTS before coming for the OSCE, because our aim is for you to get a job like within 2 months to 3 months. So if you've already wasted your 2 to 3 months out of the 6 months to prepare for IELTS in the UK, that means you are wasting your time, because they are not going to give you license until you pass IELTS. So they are not going to issue the license. Even if you've passed CBT and OSCE, they won't give you the license in UK. So that's like you are not maximizing your time on the visa. You've got 6 months to shoot your shot to UK employers and you're already wasting it on preparing for IELTS. So it is best to do IELTS first, CBT, or do CBT first and then make sure IELTS is complete before you even try to travel for OSCE.
Much, sir. I really appreciate this. It's
All
really,
right, we will
really
not be
insightful.
taking questions any longer, please. Sorry.
Oh,
Please, if you have any other
okay.
question, you can send to the WhatsApp group,
Okay.
please, because of time. Thank you. So every other person who has questions, the group is open for you. Would try to respond to the questions, as much as possible. All right. So thank you so much, everybody. I hope that from this point you would now start to decide what exactly you want for yourself in nursing. Build your grit and resilience. This journey is not for someone that gives up easily. Start early, and please, mentorship is important. Mentorship is very important. Hold on to people that have gone through the path, that can help you, enlighten you, encourage you. Yeah, thank you. I wish us all success in our careers in the nursing profession. Thank you so much once again, Nurse Olasunkami Daniel. We are so
So much
grateful.
for having me
Thank
here.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you so
Yeah.
much. Yeah, all right. Good night, everybody.
Good night.